It's funny how things work out. We have giant metal vehicles that fly through the air, HD videos that you can carry in your pocket, music that can be accessed anytime from devices that use touch screens. But when something like this happens, something so stupid, something so simple, there's nothing to be done. Nothing that can be done, even with our advances. I woke up 3 weeks ago in this place. It's a medium-sized room with concrete walls, floor and ceiling. In spots the concrete is just stained and cracked. A single light bulb hangs from the ceiling. Sometimes it flickers. It's not a very powerful bulb, but enough to see by. I woke up next to a woman. I didn't recognize her, but that didn't matter. I didn't know where I was. I didn't even know how I'd gotten here. There didn't seem to be any doors or windows, or opening of any kind, just a concrete box with me and a sleeping woman in it. I woke her up after a few moments of dazed confusion. She didn't scream, which was my worry, and instead asked questions calmly. "Where are we?" she asked. "I don't know." "How did we get here?" "I don't know. Who are you?" I smiled. Finally, a question I could answer. "I'm Tom," I said. "Tom Green. I woke up here just a minute ago. I was hoping you'd have an idea about it, but since you don't, well, you may as well just get acquainted. You know my name. What's yours?" I stuck up my hand. She shook my hand. "I'm Melissa," she replied. "Melissa Dobbs. Last I remember I was—" She froze and creased her eyebrows. "Did you hear that?" I listened, but I didn't hear anything. I shook my head. What was it? "It sounded like, I don't know, a thump." We sat in silence for a few moments, listening for another noise. There was nothing but silence, as long as we sat there. After so long, I just shook my head. "I don't think there's anything there, Melissa. But if you did hear a sound, that means we're close to the surface." "The surface?" she repeated. "What do you mean, the surface?" "Well, the way I figure it, we're probably underground. Where else would somebody keep a concrete box? Another thing I'm worried about is how they even got us in here. It all seems like a dream, you know." I sighed and leaned my back against the wall. This couldn't be happening. Not really. "I know what you mean," Melissa said. "It just doesn't seem real. This doesn't just happen. This can't just happen. This time I heard the noise too. It was like a thump, but a squishy thump. Like if you hit an animal with a big object. Images of bleeding animals flashed through my mind, pictures of infants being hit with hammers, baseball bats. I almost jumped. I was so surprised. Why would I think that? That wasn't normal. None of this was normal. This place, that sound, these thoughts, none of it was right. "Did you—" "Yeah, I heard it," I interrupted Melissa. I started to ask if she saw things, but she would think I was crazy. Being here was making me a little stressed, sure, but crazy? No. No, and I wouldn't let her think that. Melissa and I spent the rest of the day discussing the situation and listening for the noises. It seems they came at regular intervals, once every 10 minutes or so. I thought maybe we were near an automatic machine. Sometimes when the sounds came, I would have the flashes of terrible things. It was disgusting and wrong, but it happened. I couldn't help it. I wondered if Melissa was having the flashes, but I didn't dare ask her. If my only companion thought I was crazy, well, I didn't think it would end well. We had thought it was some sort of hostage-taking at first. We thought we had been taken captive by criminals. That's what we decided. It was a normal assumption. About 30 thumps into the day, though, our thoughts changed. We were hungry. If the thumps were really coming at 10 minutes, then 30 thumps meant we'd been awake for 5 hours. I could hear my stomach growling, and once I even heard Melissa's. They were thirsty more, though. My throat was sore and dry. We had no water or food. We were talking about what we'd do when we got out of this box when it happened. The interviews, books, maybe even movies that would come. Oh, we could get rich off this. We tried to remain positive like that. Suddenly everything went black. I felt like only a second, and I didn't realize my eyes had closed until I opened them. Melissa and I woke up at the same time. We were confused. Somehow we'd blacked out at the same time, woken up at the same time, and... "Food," Melissa whispered. "There's food. And water." She was staring into the corner of the room, where before there'd been nothing, but now there were 2 trays of food and water on them. My stomach rumbled, and I didn't care where they'd come from and how we'd blacked out. "Let's eat," I said, and grabbed our trays. "We can talk about this in a few thumps." Melissa actually laughed. "Funny how the way we measure time can change like that," she said, grabbing her food, "but I guess it's just as good as minutes or hours." The food was good. Warm. Steak and potatoes, scoop of ice cream for dessert, a liter bottle of water to drink. The steak was pre-cut for us, so no knives. The forks we were given were dull, very dull. No way we could hurt anyone with them. Not that we would be able to regardless, since it seems that they could induce loss of consciousness whenever they wanted. I got the feeling that once we were done eating, we'd just black out again. Forks and trays would be gone. We ate in silence. Then my guess was confirmed. Lost our trays and forks again, and we were just in an empty concrete box. We never actually talked about it. We just kept busy talking about other things. After another 50 or so thumps, we went to sleep. It was hard at first to sleep with the thumps, but as with anything, you grow accustomed to it. You grow accustomed to thumps and flashes and blackouts, just as people grow accustomed to planes and phones and iPods. This is adaptation. This is evolution. I don't know how long we slept, but every day there seemed to be less time in between each thump. Each day, though, the food seemed to get a little bit better. The first day's food was good, but it seemed bland. Each day the food tasted better, as if a reward for losing time between thumps. This is conditioning. By day 10, there was barely any time between thumps. The food was delicious. Couldn't get enough. Melissa and I got along well enough. We'd become pretty big friends. And around day 5, we started having sex. We didn't love each other, but we were both adults. Wanted something to keep us busy and entertained. Why not sex? Day 12, though, things took a turn. They went bad. We were eagerly awaiting lunch. We were ready for the blackouts. Ready to delight in delicious food we'd come to expect. We weren't thinking about escape. We weren't thinking about anything. Thumps. Flashes. Food. Thumps. Flashes. Food. Thumps. Flashes. Food. The flashes had gotten worse. So much worse. Thumps came fast now. Flashes were in my head all the times. Babies flayed open and dead. Dogs, limbs severed, laying in pools of blood. Cats with their eyes pulled out, organs ripped from their abdomens, all just animals, dead animals. Their lives been so important before, now useless, now nothing. Now just a heap of bloody regret. This is my future. This is the death of all thumps. Darkness. When I awoke, I didn't smell food like I was used to. Melissa was awake already, crying. "What's the matter?" I asked her. "Why are you awake already?" "I didn't fall asleep this time," she whispered. They came in. They came in straight through the wall. They were so hideous. They... She started to sob. "Calm down, Melissa." I went to her and put my arms around her. She latched onto me weakly. "Tell me what happened." "They don't have mouths, Tom. They're not human. But the thumps, they come from their heads. We don't hear them with our ears, Tom. I never noticed before, but we hear them with our heads. Do you understand? They didn't bring food. They said that they'd keep bringing food from now on, but not today. They tried to tell me something else, but they had to stop thumping to talk to me, and once the thumps were gone, I didn't hear. I didn't want to. I begged them to stop, to bring it back. They stopped talking and they left." "This is necessary." I held Melissa until she stopped crying and fell asleep. I thought about the changes we had now. I was trying to comfort her, but all I could think about was the flashes had stopped. I hadn't realized until that moment, because I was so used to the flashes accompanying the thumps, that I had given myself flashes. But they weren't coming anymore, not really. Something had changed since mealtime, and it made me almost uncomfortable. I could understand Melissa panicking when the thumping stopped now, though I don't think I would have freaked out that badly.